Hey guys, how you doing? This is Franklin Cruz, and so today in this video, what I'm going to be going over is 7 surprises when you inherit real estate. A lot of things people don't know about inheriting properties, inheriting real estate. I'm going to go over it right this second. So when it deals with this, and I've actually got some trick questions here because I always like trivia and quizzes, right? So pertaining to inheriting a property, first of all, what does that mean? So what that means is a loved one who passed away, you inherited a property from a loved one that passed, a loved one or a friend. They put you in a will or something like that, and now you actually own that property. You inherited that property, right? So I'm going to go over 7 surprises that you need to know if you inherited a property or you have a loved one that owns a property that you may be inheriting that property. So you need to know these 7 different things because this will help you, and also you can possibly make money or lose a ton of money if you don't listen to this video until the very end. Oh, and also don't forget, you gotta smash that like button. All right, so don't forget to do that as well. So number 1, I'm gonna go over the number 1 thing, 7 surprises that you're gonna find out, and I've already seen it because we've been doing this for quite a while, is you need to find out, is that property in a what they call a reverse mortgage. So if it is in a reverse mortgage, you need to find that out as quickly as possible. Why? Because every single month that property is in a reverse mortgage status, what they do is they actually add to the principal. So for example, if you have a reverse mortgage and you have a $100,000 principal on the property, right? Well, reverse mortgages, you don't have to make a payment. So because you don't have to make a payment, what they do is they just add the payment to your principal. So let's say your payment is $650 a month. Why people do this on a reverse mortgage is because they have equity in the property. They don't kind of know the other programs, so they get caught up in the reverse mortgage, in which I personally believe it's a total scam, but that's just my opinion. So what happens is they add this to the principal every single month. So every year, roughly, you will have added $7,800 every single month or every single year to your principal until that person passes, okay? So then what happens is, let's say if this was a 10 years, so after 10 years, if they had that reverse mortgage, they added $78,000 to the principal. Now here's the thing. If this property does not go up in value, minimum almost 7.8% every single year, that property needs to go up in value. What's going to happen is now you're going to have a short sale status, and that's exactly what we're dealing with right now with somebody who inherited a property, didn't know it was in a reverse mortgage. They're adding, and now it's kind of too late. And so now they're almost in a short sale status because of that. So again, if you're dealing something like this, you need to know as quickly as possible. So you can ask your parents, hey, do you have a reverse mortgage? What is actually happening with it? What is going on with that? So that's the first thing. The other thing as well is you never know if they have a rental. So when you inherit a property, it may have been a rental. So now you've got to get, okay, what's the rental agreement? What's going on? What's the terms? Are they up to date? Did they leave a deposit? What is actually happening with that renter? You don't know. The other thing as well that you want to make sure that you know, and this is kind of a bonus item, and I'll write this down, is whenever you're dealing with inherited properties, you want to make sure, okay, is the will actually complete? Does it have your name on it? Does it have somebody's name on it? Because if that person passes away and there is no will in place, that property is going to go through what they call a probate. Now, the catch is probates aren't free. You have to find an attorney that actually knows what he's doing on a probate. You have to pay that attorney. It's going to go through the court process. Now, if your parents had multiple children, right? You have your parents here and they had 4 or 5 kids, right? And then let's say one of the kids die, right? And then that kid actually had 2 children, right? and then that kid actually has kids as well. So what happens is, and I'm just going to, again, I'm not an attorney. I've just been doing this for a long time, a little bit over 19 years now. So I'm just going to kind of give you a roundabout of what happens. It's called following the bloodline. So what they do is, if your parents passed away, so now they're out of the equation, it automatically goes to 1, 2, 3 kids. But if that 5th one passed away, the rights follow the bloodline and goes to those 2 kids. The only way you can sell that property or do anything with that property, in case you don't have a will. All right, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm going to go right back to this. So whenever you're dealing with a will or probate, just remember, again, they're following the bloodline. So if you're following the actual bloodline, now you've got to get everybody to agree. So if you want to sell that property, whatever you want to do to that property, all parties have to agree. Now, can you potentially buy out certain individuals as well? Yes, you could potentially buy somebody out as well, but everybody, again, has to agree upon that buyout as well. So let me keep on going here. So you've got the reverse mortgage. You may have a surprise. It may have been a rental property. And then another thing that you've got to look at is homeowners insurance. So the property, if it has homeowners insurance, you got to keep that homeowners insurance intact. Also, you never know, does it have a policy, does it have something related to saying if that person passes away, does the property get paid off in full? That could have been a part of a homeowner's insurance policy. You've got to look that up. So the other thing as well, so again, you've got to make sure where's that documentation, just because if something happens, you want to make sure that you have this immediately, and you want to make sure it gets caught up. The other thing as well that you've got to look at, number 4, is capital gains tax. So when you're dealing with capital gains tax, again, you've got to look at it like if you're going to actually be selling the property or doing something with that property, just because they actually own that property doesn't mean now that that's your homestead. So because it's not your homestead, you inherited the property, or you have the property, what's going to happen is the following. Number 1, right when you sell it, they're going to treat that as an investment property. So you do not want to have issues with the IRS. So get prepared for capital gains tax, and that can vary. That could be, in all matters, your state. That could be anywhere from 20% to 33% and more. But just prepare yourself for that. Now, if you move in the property, create a homestead. Now, any kind of homestead that you own, at least that I know of in the state of Florida, 0 taxes if you ever sell that property. I believe anywhere in the country as well. So let me keep on moving. So number 5. Now, again, like I was stating before, you may have a surprise. You may have a brother or sister you never knew about. I've seen that as well. So heirs, there may be multiple heirs that you didn't even know about. So you've got to actually prepare yourself. Find out, is there any heirs to this property? Was there another wife that he had that we had no idea about? Had that happen as well? So all of these things you want to actually look into as quickly as possible. Were there any kind of heirs? Reverse mortgage, was there a rental? What's going on with the homeowner's insurance? Capital gains tax. The other thing as well, you've got to make sure on number 6, which I was writing down as well, you've got estate tax. So if you have estate tax, you've got to prepare yourself as well. You don't know, every single state is a little bit different when it comes down to estate tax. There may be a tax for the transfer. There may be a tax also, because of the estate tax is very different from capital gains tax. 2 different types of taxes, just FYI. Estate tax can vary. That could be 20% or more or not. I would definitely seek out a tax consultant, somebody who actually specializes in real estate and or estate tax. Find out, it'll be worth the money to have a conversation with them, only if you already retrieve that property. Now, and the other thing as well, and we wrote this down, is probate. So if the property is in a probate, that means, again, there was a will or not a will, but you still have to go through probate, because now you've got to legally change the title of that property. It may say the estate of blah, 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 and now you actually are the owners of that property. And remember, it is going to follow the bloodline of, even if that person is adopted or the actual blood sibling or blood brother or sister of the person that owned the property. Just recently had an ordeal that the father was married. The wife passed away, transferred all ownership to the father, okay, to the husband. The husband had, or this lady right over here had 2 kids, okay, 2 kids right here. Older kids now, they're in their 50s and 60s. But the father, who now legally owns it, had an adopted daughter. That adopted daughter, who do you think has the rights to that property? The 2 kids who had the mother, or the adopted daughter of the husband / father? Now, the father passes away. Father passed away. Guess who owns it? Right here. The adopted daughter, but she's not blood, it doesn't matter. But this lady originally owned it, and now, no, it doesn't matter. Follows who was the owner, and it follows if not a bloodline is available, adoption, and I'm adopted so I know a little bit about this, adoption does count. So you got to factor that in. So hopefully you guys got something out of this when it comes down to 7 surprises dealing with inheritance. Whenever you inherit real estate, these are the questions that you've got to ask. So again, leave a comment below. Definitely whatever you want on the very bottom. Smash that like button. I'll talk to you guys later. And let me know if there's a subject that you guys want to talk about when it deals with real estate. I definitely just want to share my knowledge and kind of document also what we're doing on this channel. So for me, it's kind of the thing when my kids get a little bit older, they say, oh, that's what Dad was doing. He did know a little bit about real estate. So, all right, guys, talk to you. Bye.